Hi, this is Angel Jones. I love great conversations where life's journey is communicated not only through words, but tones and emotions. Explosive expressions that allow you to feel what they felt and learned. A fool learns only from his own mistake, while the wise learn from their own and from those others have made. Thanks for being here with us. Good morning, Derrick Kwa. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
Well, it's night. It's like midnight here, but I've had a good day so far.
So it's almost morning then, right?
Yeah, well, basically.
You said you were in Singapore, right?
Yep.
In our pre-conversation. Wonderful. Hey, I thank you for supporting this 1,509 conversations in 3 months, Derrick. Tell me, which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
I would say probably the biggest kind of talent for me would be, my willingness to put myself out there and connect with people. That in itself, I think it's a trained skill that you practice, right? And you get better at, and it's something that I pride myself on being able to do well.
I love that, man. I mean, we were talking about your podcast before we had to call and connect. So, Derrick, tell me a bit more about your podcast.
So the podcast is Passion Blueprint, and I share the stories of people who have taken the step to do what they love. Right? So talking about the fears they faced, how they overcame those fears, right? The lessons they learned on the way, to with the goal of inspiring other people to take that step and pursue their passions themselves.
Say the name of the podcast again. I think you just cut out just for a quick second there. Say the name of your podcast again.
Yep, it's at PassionBlueprint.com.
PassionBlueprint.com. Interesting. Are you interviewing only people from Singapore, or are you interviewing people from all over the world as well?
Oh, I'm interviewing people from around the world. Right? I've had guests from UK, from US, Canada, I think.
Love it. Who did you learn the skill of stepping out of the norm from?
I mean, part of it has kind of always been, I guess I guess I have a kind of a natural tendency to lean towards being different, but that developed a lot from following Seth Godin, actually.
The purple cow,
his
right?
Books. Yep, his books. I did a virtual internship with him back in 2008. I did his Alt-MBA program last year. So, I've learned a lot from him.
Why will you continue to repeat the skills that you have so well learned, even from Seth?
I mean, it's a constant practice, right? That fear of putting yourself out there, of, stepping out, it's still always scary, right? So it's a constant practice of training yourself to deal with that fear and manage it and not let it stop you.
Yeah, I agree. It is definitely a constant. I think with every step, there's a higher step.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is one thing you've done, Derrick, consistently over the past 3 years?
Probably. I don't think there's really anything that I've done consistently for that long. Probably the closest thing would be just create. From I've dabbled in like songwriting to just putting my podcast out there, regularly blogging, just kind of that act of creation and putting work out into the world that represents yourself, that has meaning to you. I think that's probably what I'm the most proud of in terms of a practice standpoint.
How does that make you feel?
I mean, I love the act of creation. It's something that I value a lot, but it's a constant struggle, right? Whenever you're trying to create something new, right, it constantly raises new questions of doubt of whether you're good enough, of whether what you're creating is good enough, and it's tough, but like, I'm happy that I've been able to push through it.
The imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I
I
know
mean,
it
that's,
all too well.
yeah, anyone who's, pretty much everyone probably faces it, right? And it's even stronger when you're trying to do your own thing.
Suggest to our amazing audience, in spite of having that imposter syndrome, why they should do what you've done by being creative and getting past the boundaries of I cannot do it.
Because ultimately, right, the things that scare you the most are the things that will have the most impact on the people around you, because they see that emotional struggle. And secondly, the things that scare you the most are often the things that mean the most to you. Right? Those are the things that when you do it, it will give you the most meaning, the most satisfaction. It's what you're the most connected to. And that's exactly why it's scary, but that's exactly why it's completely worth doing.
Love that. Love that. Couldn't say it better. Could not say that better. Hey, Derrick, let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. What is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory is, I think, let me think. My earliest childhood memory is me sitting on like one of those high chairs, like, at a kitchen table with one of those high chairs where my feet couldn't touch the ground, and like sitting there and like doing, like, learning to spell and stuff when I was like 3 or 4. Yeah, that's probably the earliest thing I can remember.
Why do you think this memory in particular is so clear?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer to that, really. You know, it's I think the way our mind works is it's hard to understand sometimes.
Yes, I
Like,
totally agree.
I mean, I remember listening to a comedian who said his first memory is like him standing in front of a wall and thinking, that's a wall. And sometimes, like, there's no real explanation for it, right? It's just, the mind works in mysterious ways, I guess.
Yeah, that's why it's so good to have these conversations, because then you could have someone who has an idea or looks at it. I think it's like looking at a picture. Two people could look at a picture and have two different interpretations. But if you're open to hearing another interpretation, sometimes it could bring some validity to what they've seen and even validity to what you did not see. It's intriguing that what you said to the beginning of this conversation, that hey, you're always stepping out of the norm and what it takes to step out of the norm, and it's uncomfortable sitting on a bar stool type chair and having not being aware of having your feet on the ground is a lot to me, metaphorically, like what you've been doing. You're out there and it doesn't feel as though your feet is on the ground most times. We spoke about the imposter syndrome, but hey, you're learning. You're learning. What were you learning? Your ABCs, you said?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So again, it's my interpretation of your
Yeah, that's a really
canvas.
cool way of looking at it. Never thought about it that way before.
What was your favorite song when you were 12 years old?
When I was 12 years old, like 95% of the songs I was listening to were Christian music.
Interesting.
So it was probably like, off the top of my head, I would probably say something like Shout to the Lord.
Film songs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was like all I was listening to around that point in time.
Interesting. Okay, now we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. Yes or no or a bit more. Have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Not specifically, no. Not like a specific individual. I try and help my friends around me in general whenever I can. But, there's no, I think, one specific person who I focus on.
Okay.
mentoring and passing things down to.
Okay. Are you married?
Nope, not yet.
Do you have children?
No,
Do
not
you?
that I know of.
Oh, I will not go. I will not say anything. Do you believe in God?
I think I believe in the existence of God. It's not something that I really put a lot of stock into. I don't kind of spend time worshiping or anything these days. But at a deeper level, I do probably believe in something out there.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really important in whatever you're doing. Right? Having that close group of friends and that support is really crucial.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
I watch a lot of TV.
Okay. All right. Before you leave, Derrick, is there anything you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I think the main thing is, to just constantly keep doing the things that scare you, and the way to do that is do it one small step at a time, and by taking small steps, you'll gain confidence. You'll see what you can actually do, and you'll get better at taking the next small step.
Derrick Kwa, thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It was great.
Amazing audience. Before you leave, there's one person I'd like to introduce you to, Amanda Jones. She is my wife, and her passion is to educate, encourage, and empower.
Hi, I'm Amanda Jones, and I'm a registered nurse. Do you or someone you know have diabetes? According to the International Diabetes Federation, in 2015, worldwide, 415 million people were living with diabetes. Just as that figure is overwhelming, so too can the effects of diabetes be. So, to help simplify diabetes for both adult and child, I've used rhymes in my books, The ABCs of Diabetes for Children and Poems for Patients, a focus on diabetes. At its simplest, rhymes help us to remember. If you, a child or friend, want an easy, reader-friendly way to know about diabetes, then get a copy of these books. For more details, you can go to poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.